Hi, grade 5 teachers. We are going to dive back into the first topic in theme 3, looking at dividing with unit fractions. And we're specifically going to be looking at essential tasks 48 and 49. These two essential tasks deal with the standard 5 NFB 7B and 5 NFB 7C. Once again, 5 NFB 7C is embedded throughout to really help our students gain that conceptual understanding and really look at the context of the problems, what's happening, what are our knowns, what are our unknowns, and try to make sense of these scenarios. So we're going to be looking with 5 NFB 7B, we're going to be looking at a whole number divided by a unit fraction. So this is definitely going to be different from our students, whether it's information that was taught to them from a teacher or whether it's information that they have conjectured in their own head or made these rules. We're not used to seeing quotients that are bigger or greater than our dividend. So this is definitely going to take some time for students to kind of grasp and make sense of because it is a different way of looking at division. However, our division strategies are going to stay the same. So we're still going to think about partitioning, and we're still going to think about equal groups. So let's kind of dive in here. Let's look at essential task 48. This essential task is taken from Blackboard, and it is in theme 2. Sorry, I thought it was right on this side. Here it is, theme 2, unit 8, question 4. So you'll see there's an original lesson plan. There's also a video that kind of takes you through how this lesson works. So for that reason, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but we're really going to want to make sure that students have paper to complete this task. They can have paper and they can have scissors if you want to have them cut, or if you want to have them shade, they could have crayons or markers or pencils, whatever really works for you. But really here, we're talking about how many, in this case, force could fit into one hole. So they're making cards. We're really looking at how many goes into that one hole. If I'm partitioning one hole into force, how many force would that be? So they're going to look at that with one hole. They're also going to be moving into that with 2 holes. So now if I have 2 sheets of paper, what would that look like? So we're going to transition from paper folding to Cuisenaire rods. Once again, there's a video here to help you kind of make that transition to Cuisenaire rods. You can use these Cuisenaire rods to show the amounts. Students can also use their new printable Cuisenaire rods to help show their amounts, whatever works for you and whatever works for your students. Just note that there's a bunch of notes down here for you and for your students. And when we're thinking about those Cuisenaire rods, we're really thinking about how our size of our hole may change. So you'll notice that these holes are defined here and different color rods. So we're going to have to think flexibly when we are looking at these. And we're also really going to notice that looking at, are there any patterns? And did any rules that you previously learned about division, are any of those no longer true, right? Once again, this is that first time 1 divided by 1/3 equals 3, that 3 is greater than our original number that we started with, which students aren't necessarily used to yet. And then thinking about that dividend divisor quotient, same relationship of division that we saw with whole numbers. This might take a little time to get your students' heads wrapped around this, so it's okay if this takes a couple days. Looking at, here we go. Essential task 49. Same standard, 5 NFB 7B. We're going to continue here with that problem solving aspect. So once again, we're really making sense of the problem. So what's happening here? What's being partitioned? How is it being partitioned, right? So if I have a total of 3 cups of pancake batter, I'm taking out scoops of 1/3. What's my known information, right? What am I looking for? So if I know my total, I know how large each one of my groups is going to be, right? Each group is going to be 1/3 cup. And I'm just looking for how many groups I have. And I know that that's a division structure. So really talking our students through, what are our knowns? What are our unknowns? What kind of groups do we have? Do we know our number of groups? Do we know how much is in each group? So you'll notice here there's a couple options. You can use the Cuisenaire rods. Once again, they can use the ones in these slides, or they could use the Cuisenaire rods that they got, the printable ones. You'll also see that they could use this math fraction app. This math fraction app, though, once again, this is not a shareable app, so we can't put the problem in there and have it shared with students or have them do their work and share it back with us. They need to take a screenshot. So check out our office hours if you want some more practice with that. Here they're going to be showing how their strategy relates to a number line. So what's the relationship between maybe their Cuisenaire rods or their bar model and this number line? If the number line's not what your students need, feel free. You can just easily delete that and you can do two different strategies, whatever works for you. And we really want to be sure that we're highlighting that division equation, right? And then we'll have another practice, two different options here as well that students can show, and some practice pages in the Ready Common Core books that they can work on their own. So that is these two in a nutshell. Please let us know if you have any questions or you need any help. And thanks for listening.